says that overall juvenile crime in Charlotte-Mecklenburg is down, while cases involving firearms and young people are on the rise. But tonight, we're not focusing on the numbers, we're focusing on the survivors tonight. And WBTV's Dalford Jones is joining us now live from West Charlotte, who's been looking into this story. So Dalford, you spoke to public health advocates about resources and safe outlets for dealing with grief.
That's right, John. And you know, for every young life that's affected by crime, there's another side of the story that goes beyond the headlines. That's the remaining grief of the victim's surviving family and their friends. With every young life taken or rattled by violence, those victims aren't the only victims. Their families, friends, and classmates now have to find a way to deal with that trauma. Quantico Falls operates a nonprofit focused on the needs of grieving children and their caregivers.
When a child does something, let's not look at that child and say, you did this. Let's look at that child and say, why did you do this? Because I promise you, there's probably some type of trauma that we didn't handle, that was not handled, which is the effect of that violence.
During summer months, we often see a spike in youth crime and violence. As school lets out, kids now have more freedom and time.
We want to be proactive in keeping them on track of not becoming victims or victimizing others.
As a result, Chief Estella Patterson says Mecklenburg County and CMPD are being proactive and giving kids safe options to keep them out of trouble. For the next few Fridays, Parks and Rec is hosting its Teen Summer Jam.
Those are the safe spaces that we are talking about for our youth to be a part of.
As community advocates look out for the well-being of the whole child, Falls says when tragedy does strike, connection and real-life experiences can help earn trust and create a safe space for conversation.
Now I call it my lived expertise. Growing up in a low poverty neighborhood, surrounded by gun violence, homicides, drugs, and just seeing that, but them also seeing me being able to go to school and still make it out.
Now, Chief Patterson says they want kids to be kids, but to do so safely. So they're offering several options throughout the county to do just that. Now, on the reactive side, should a teenager in your life be faced with tragedy, finding someone they trust to share and work through those struggles is key. Tonight, we're live in West Charlotte. Dalford Jones, WBTV on your side.
Dalford, thank you.